evening, everyone. Tonight what we're going to be doing is working on Moonglow in the Ultima Nostalgia project. And the last time we were streaming, I was terraforming the island and getting it prepared to get our map all gridded out and laid out on the island. And tonight it's all good to go. It's all been terraformed. The whole Moonglow map is here, ready to go, and we're ready to start building the buildings, which is the most fun and exciting part of the whole process of making a new area for Ultima Nostalgia. So I guess we'll just get started then, and maybe we could start from the bank. That's the place where I used to hang out the most in Ultima Online back in the day when I was playing it. And let's just get this little guy over there as well, to the same area. Okay, let's see now. So that would be a sandstone slab that we're going to use for the floor. Out here. So we're going to use sandstone slab, which I have actually edited in Ultima in the project. I've replaced the texture so that it looks similar to the one you see in UO. Sandstone slabs. And then let's just go ahead and replace all of those. And while we're at it, maybe we can have a look at also the other floors of some of the other buildings, and just get maybe all the floors right to begin with. To be honest, maybe that would be a nice approach. That one is wood. I think all of these buildings here are probably wood. It could be that this one, yes, that one is also sandstone. Up here, those are probably wooden. Down over there, maybe the ones on the right hand side. Okay, this one, yes. And that way we won't have to deal with those floors then again if we get them the right way already from this point on. And then floor, this is like a wooden floor over in this building. So we're gonna use the tarred wooden planks, which I prefer the darker look of the tarred ones. And I do believe most of these buildings here have also the same floor type. One. Yes. And that one is definitely looks like I messed up a bit. Just gonna fix that one quickly. Slate bricks. Welcome to the stream, guys. Sorry for my coughing here. Okay, let's see. gonna be so much fun building Moonglow. I can just hardly wait to get to the actual building process of all these buildings. And the zoo. Oh, the zoo, I can hardly wait to work on the zoo. Once we get more people on the stream, then I think I'm gonna tackle the zoo right off, because that's gonna be really fun to watch, actually. Let's see, that one is also wood. Oops. This one over here, wooden as well. Looks like it's some kind of inn. That's wood. Okay, and these ones are probably wooden as well. Oh, and also this middle part, I'm looking forward to trying to build that as well. I'm a little bit nervous how it's going to turn out, but we'll definitely give it a try. And that is wood as well. Good, I think we have all of the floors, the floor types set up for the city, so let's start off with the bank. I do have so many good memories of this bank, and all the thieving I did with my thief back in the day. Just hilarious times, just crying from laughter because of the fun I had back before the Trammel and Felucca split. I'm wondering about the level of the volume of the music. Is it a little bit too loud, guys? Just let me know. Okay, let's see. So this is going to be sandstone walls. And let's just get to work. Actually, I do believe I had a keybind for building. Yes, okay. This is going to go fine. Get the foundation, or the frame set up, rather. Should we get some clouds in the sky there? Just a few clouds would be nice. There we go. Oh, I went to go and let's just fix that quickly. We're using the wrong keybind. Okay, let's see. Get the frames finished. And actually, I don't even need my inventory at this point. And again, I made a mistake here. I have to be careful. There we go. And then we will confirm that this is the layout that we want and finalize build plan. And let's see, what do we need to do here? Well, it's the opening at least is going to be a sandstone arch. So let's just drag. Now we actually do need that inventory just momentarily. And we need sandstone arch. And that is there. Should we get maybe the... Actually, I'm just wondering if I should make the sun direction the same as we have it in UO, just for the heck of it. Or maybe it actually is. Well, let's build this one building and see how. It looks like it's a little bit, we could get a little bit of a better daytime here. So the sun would be higher. A little bit sunnier, that's better. And then this one is just going to be plain wall. So let's go down here. Sandstone wall. And sandstone wall. . 1, these are going to be the narrow windows. Sandstone. And a window narrow. And over there as well. And the same thing on the other side. I think the entire building is, except that middle wall right there, that looks like it would just be a plain sandstone wall. So let's just add these windows all around. Welcome to the stream. And if anyone wants to know, if anyone's new to the stream or new to my channel and you're wondering what the heck I'm working on here, just let me know and I'd be happy to explain. And then let's get that one, and building these buildings in God mode in Wurm Unlimited sure is fun. It's just so instant. If you'd actually been playing the proper game, it would take forever to make this building. Good. And then let's put just a plain wall over here. And then that will be it for the walls, at least for now. And how is this? Is this like a 2-story high building? No, not really. It has this upper wall up at the top, so we're going to put that as a decorative thing. But I'm just wondering, is that like a tall looking... No, it is just 1 story. Somehow I get this feeling about the bank that it's this kind of... it gives this feeling that it's... You know how some of those Ultima buildings... You can feel that the walls or the ceilings are higher in them, and I just get that feeling somehow in the bank for some reason. Let me just go to this one and compare and see if I'm just... You see how this feels somehow lower? I'm not quite sure why. Maybe I'm just nuts. I could swear that feels like it's higher. So I almost feel like I want to make a 2nd story before I do the ceiling for this, but I'm just going to compare that actually in Photoshop and see if I'm imagining things or not, because it could be that top layer of bricks there is sort of making it higher. Let's see. Yeah, but hey there, Charlie, and welcome to the stream. Yeah, it does have that 2nd layer on top of the roof, but I'm talking about the feeling you get when you're inside. And I'm just gonna compare in Photoshop very quickly and see, because as I've been doing this project, I've noticed that some of the buildings, they do make them a little bit higher. See how this feels more low, and Photoshop will tell us will reveal the the actual situation. Let's see. So if we get that lined up so we have the floors around the same spot, and then the top of this wall goes right here, and then no, it's just as high, so it is just a 1-story one. I don't know why it feels so tall. Is it just because it's such a big room then? Oh well. Well, we'll just keep it at 1 story, like a one story high wall then. And let's see, what do we need to do next for the back before I start putting the... I wonder if I should actually do some... No, I'm not going to decorate yet. I think what I'll just do is then start... We could make some shop signs at least though. So let's do that. that nice bank sign up there. Shop sign. Let's make maybe 20 of those. Get one of those planted. We have to rename it, so let's see what's the name of the bank in Moonglow. First Bank of Moonglow and Tinker's Guild. That's kind of a weird... See that Tinker's Guild? Like, they've sort of put it as one word, which is a little bit odd to me. You'd think that it'd be Tinker's Guild as a separate First Bank of Moonglow and Tinker's Guild. But I'm going to put it exactly the way it is. And not get hung up on that. Of Moonglow and Tinker's... Oops. Tinker's Guild. And then it's going to have the picture is going to be the same, so the pile of coins. And where was it? Coins. Let's just plant that one. There we go. And rotate it a bit. And it's lined up around, well, quite near the doorway, so that looks about right. But I'd like to get the sunlight on the same side as well, so just so it looks very similar to how it's looking in UO. So let's get the sun a little bit more on this side, and then the shadow should be on this side. Okay. Now, I'm tempted to almost do the foundations, like the first story of all the buildings in the town before I start doing I think I'll do that, and then before I start putting on the rooftops, I think I will actually start decorating these rooms. And what we need for this one is the message board, so let's make a few of those as well. I mean, they don't look exactly like the ones in UO, obviously it's a different game, but it will at least mimic it somehow. And we should make 10 of those, well, maybe not 10, 3, and quality. And then just plant that one. I mean, the one in Wurm has this little sort of a rooftop to it. It's not meant to be one that's just stuck up against the wall, but I'm gonna stick it up there anyhow. Maybe that's just a tad too much. There we go. That's at least better than nothing. It does give it this kind of banky kind of feel, doesn't it? And then let's go on to, oh, there's this whole section here of these so actually this, okay, so there's road, then there's this section, and that fencing should actually extend out, and we're gonna put like some statues and stuff in there. How had I not noticed that earlier? And we could make that actually enchanted grass as well, just so it feels a little bit more different. Enchanted grass. And then let's see, what does it have? It has a fountain in it. And now I have to double check the fountains of Wurm. Let me just see which one would be the sort of fanciest to go there. Outdoor decorating, and then let's see. So, fountain decorative is probably the closest one to the one in UO. It doesn't have any like statues on top, so we won't take the ornate one. Okay. So let's make a fountain. Decorate a fountain. And then plant that right smack in the middle. Drop that down. And it's not, doesn't look of course exactly the same, but it will certainly do. And then we need some flowers. Now how am I going to solve all of those flowers in the middle? I think the best thing that I can really do is plant enchanted lavender bushes. I think that's going to be the closest thing that we can get. Wurm does have, of course, oh, they're really, I need to do it into the middle, I see. And I can't enchant it. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to just plant them in the middle anyhow. Okay. So let's actually make those dirt for now. And then plant them by hand in the center of the tiles. And let's make some lavender sprouts. Lavender. And then let's get 10 of those, for instance. And this way we can plant it right in the middle. Plant center. And then we can grow it manually. Okay, gonna have to grow it with my wand. There we go. And plant in center. And then grow it up. In the center, and then grow it up. And then 2 more. Good. Okay. And that one looks like it could be grown up just a bit more. And I don't know if anyone knows if there's a way for you to, like when you're in God mode in Wurm Unlimited, is there a way for me to actually enchant these tiles? Because I was painting the tiles just a moment ago, but then that means that you can't control the placement of the bushes, and they were not being placed very nicely. So if anyone happens to know. Okay, so until we have some option for the... I'm sure there must be a way, but until then, I'm just going to actually replace that with grass for now, so it doesn't stand out in a weird way. There we go. And oh, we have to put the statues. So I think the closest thing as far as a statue goes would probably be the Hota statue. So I'm gonna have to use the taxidermy mod to get that one. So let's see, how does this go again? I'm gonna create some taxidermy. Preserved body, item quality 99, and let's make 10 of those. And then set data, and the data is 5. Hold on, how does this work again? I have to make a Hota statue and set its aux data. No, this is not a preserved body. Yes, that's right. Now I'm remembering. Hota statue. There we go. Item quality. I wonder if I can put 100. No, I can't. Only 99. Okay, and then let's make 2 of those. And then we need to set the aux data. Set data. May only use it while it's on its ground. Okay. Plant. And then items, set data. And the aux data was 5. Okay. Let's see if this works. Yes. Perfect. And then let's just rotate that. Rotate that, and they're actually, both of them are facing this way. That's kind of odd. Why would they not face in towards the bank? It's really a little bit strange. I almost feel inclined to make it facing the bank. They probably just wanted it for the, because this is an isometric game where you can't see the different directions. They've probably wanted it just so that it's not just the sort of butt-like side of the statue showing or something, to sort of show off how cool it is. I'm not sure. Or maybe they just didn't have a art graphic for the back of the statue, but I could swear that I've seen that somewhere. And then we're going to do the same thing for this one as well. And I've already forgotten what the aux data was. 5. And then just pull that and rotate it a bit. Just center it. That will do. That'll do for now. Maybe we'll think of something later on to make that a little bit juicier. Maybe what I can do is plant some, like put some potted flowers or something in there just to fill the whole place up with flowers. I might find a solution for that. We'll see. Okay, so let's continue building. And let's go over to the next building here and set down the foundation or the framework. And then we shall finalize the build plan. And let's just teleport over here and see how that looks. So it's this kind of light wooden building, and it has a double door right in the middle. Okay. And wooden double door. And these would just be with the windows. Again, it doesn't look exactly like the UO one, not at all, because it has this sort of crisscrossing frames that you'll see in a moment, but that's the closest you can really get, to be honest. So wooden, and we want the one with the window. And over here as well. And due to the grid layout, we can't. Well, that seems to be. Yeah, due to the grid layout, we're forced to, because they don't even up the grid doesn't even up with how it is in UO. So I can't get the door right in the middle of the thing of the building, but we're gonna have to make do with this option. And I guess it has windows. That one is a solid window, and the back walls are also solid. So I'm actually gonna have to delete that one and replace it in a moment. So all the side walls are these windows. Good, and then the back ones are just plain wooden. And at some point, well, actually this doesn't have to be, these walls don't have to be dyed. They already match up quite nicely with the color here. But some of the wooden ones are gonna have to be dyed for sure. Good, and then let's see what we have over here. The inn. I've always liked this building for some reason. Not quite sure why. I do, oh crap, what did I go and do? I just changed let's change that back. Yeah, this sort of like, does even have a name. What does it say when you actually click on the wall? Plaster, yes, plaster. I've always liked the plaster. Oh, and again, I did the same thing. I might as well change it just in case I do that mistake again. I've always liked the plaster walls in UO. Let's see. There we go. And then we will get that finalized. I'll get my teleport back here. Finalize build plan. And this is going to be a double door right here. Or do I want to put it there? It would be kind of nice to have space for that sign, so I'm going to actually put the double door here, I think. So that would be timber, double door. And they don't look exactly the same, but close enough. And I'm going to have to color tint that to be a bit more cream a little bit later. Timber wall. Window. Let's make that just a plain timber wall. And those are all windows. What about the inside? Are there any other? Well, we could make the. Are there? Yeah, there's a plain wall over here actually. And for some reason, it's only on this side, but not on this side. That's interesting. Usually, they do it quite symmetrically in this game. And we're gonna do those inner walls later on. Let's just get all the outer walls first done. Timber window. Tempted to because the color of the timber in Wurm is like so blue, Like it's white, but it's sort of this kind of like if it was leaning towards any tint, it's definitely much a more bluish color. So actually, once we get all these walls done, I think I'm gonna go ahead and like dye those walls just so we get the cream color back. Because it's bad enough already that the walls don't look exactly like you see them in UO. But the cream color will definitely help a little bit with that, and you'll see what I mean soon. And guys, just let me know if the volumes are off or anything, if my voice is too quiet or if the music is too loud. I'm listening to a playlist of music right now that and the player does not have something that will equalize the volumes within the whole playlist. So some of the songs are actually a little bit louder. Like I think this one is a little bit louder than the ones we were listening to earlier. And that's all the outer walls. And let's actually just get that dye set up now. So first thing we need to do is create ourselves a barrel into which the dye is going to go. And we're going to want, actually, should I go for, I'm just going to go for a tub actually, because then that can hold like tons and tons and tons of dye. Yes, huge tub. And then let's just make it a fantastic one while we're at it. So we have the tub in our inventory, it's right there, and now we're going to make some dye. And I'm going to have to get those RGB values set up from I have a list of those, so let's just go for blue. And then, oh, I forgot to do no, I could have done that later. Okay, let's just try. It's been some time since I've done this, hold on. Dye, and doesn't matter which one because we're going to change the RGB values ourselves. And I have all my RGB values here, handy dandy. There, warmer timber walls. So 225, 202, 225, 202, and then 171. And let's see if I remembered correctly how to do this. And let's make the quality 99 just to be on the safe side. Oh, and number of items. Of course we want to have as much dye as possible, so let's just go for 999. And there we go. It has given us a whole bunch of dye, and the color looks like it's correct. So if I now start painting this, you see we get that cream color back. Now we have that same color that we have in UO. Looks so much better now. I'm wondering if it's a little bit too creamy, or is it just this sort of reaction to seeing the difference of the blue to the cream. I'm gonna have to let that sit for a while and see if I get used to it. So much better though. Definitely matches UO so much nicer. And it's cool that you can in Wurm you can dye your houses, you can dye your ships, obviously clothes, a lot of wooden items, so it's like considered to be paint. So basically anything that you could paint in real life, you can paint in the game. And then they also have a tool, a metal brush tool that allows you to brush away the paint as well. So if you decide to, if you've just painted your entire house neon pink and you decided that was a really bad idea, you can then just brush away the paint, which is super handy. Good, that looks so much better now. And maybe we will just do those inner walls as well. Okay, so let's start off with this one. And I know I have a keybind for the walls. Let me just see here. Plan, plan, plan. Plan wall. Okay, I've put it to the same keybind. So maybe I will actually make a new one, which is almost the same, except it's Control-Alt-A. Let's just save that and then set it. Oh, thank you so much for the follow, Ski48, and welcome to the stream. So nice to have you join us here. Let's see if this keybind works now. And I should make a wall, plans for walls here. So Control-Alt-A. You cannot do that with, okay, I have to choose my wand. There we go, it does work, good. That is much handier than going through the context menu. Good. Now we will want to do a single door here, so let's see. Timber framed door. We're going to dye that in a moment, and then this is just a plain wall. Timber wall over there, and then we will dye them. Good. And then over here we need some kind of archway, and luckily in Wurm these days they have this sort of double. Before you only had in Wurm you only had a single like tile archway type like this one, but in recent times they have added one which is like 2 tiles wide, and you can actually also make them even larger using the T-walls. So let's try adding that now next. Timber arch right. I'm not sure which one it is. It's the wrong one, but that's okay, so we can rotate it around. Let's just rotate that wall. There we go. And then dye that one as well. And it doesn't look as pretty as the one in UO, that's for sure. But we have to make do with what we have here. And then we need a hallway. So these are actually going to be very small, like hotel or these kind of inn rooms. And starting, how am I going to divide these? Let me see, this has like 4 rooms. How many tiles do we have to use? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to obviously make a compromise. So what I'm going to do, since these are kind of rectangular anyhow, they're not fully square, I'm going to make like only, I'm only going to make 3 rooms, and I'm going to have them as like 2 times 1 sized. Because otherwise we're not going to get everything to fit in. Yeah, that's what I'll do. And let's make some walls here. And then each room needs to have a wall in between. We do not want the people sleeping in the inn to be bothering each other, do we? And then we're gonna make doors over here. Timber framed door. And for this one as well. And then for the last one in the same spot. And then the rest of those are all gonna be plain walls. final wall. And then we're gonna dye these. Paint. Good. And then those final separating walls to get them the right color. And there is actually, oh, I did not paint that one, it seems. There we go. Good. So that looks pretty good. Let's just compare a little bit. Of course, it only has 3 rooms. Now I'm actually tempted. I'm almost tempted, guys, to actually... I'm almost tempted to make them square rooms and just make a whole bunch of them. But then again, no, because we have to get the bed to fit there, and we're going to also have to have this chest of drawers, and that's probably going to go somewhere here, so let's just keep it that way, actually. Okay, then let's go on to the next building. What should we do next? Maybe this one over here. And this one is this kind of alchemists. Oh, a sign. We need a sign. So this is called the Scholars Inn, and we need to add the sign to the other one as well. Was it an armor or something like that? Okay, so this is the Scholars Inn. Rename Scholars Inn. And the candle, I'm trying to remember what I replaced for the candle. It's probably sleep. And then we just place that down there. And yes, the picture is the same one. Good. So I have gone into the textures of Wurm Unlimited, and I've changed I made these images in Photoshop for the signs to look like the ones that we have in UO. Because you gotta have those signs. And unfortunately, Wurm does not have as many signs as you have in UO, so I've had to make some little compromises because I couldn't support all of the different sign types. So for instance, there's the sort of Fletcher and all the ones relating to bows and fletching, and like there's several signs revolving around like crossbows and bows, and I could only do one of them because there's not enough slots for those in Wurm. But that'll do for the inn. The inn is an important one that had to be right. And there's actually one of those notice boards in here as well. So since we have some in our inventory, I'm just gonna throw one down here. And I should probably reskin that just to make it look as close as possible to the one in UO. So let's just put it a little bit more over here. And then, what was the name of this place over here? We didn't do a sign, so here's a good example. Okay, that's the one with the sword and the shield. We do have a sign like that one, actually. Okay, let's see. And this one is called Second Defense Armory, and is that with a OU? No, it's just a O. Rename Second Defense Armory. And now, if I could only remember which one had was it maybe the helmet? I'm gonna have to cheat from have a little sneaky peek from my files actually, because I do not remember what I have which sign I assigned that one to. So let's have a look quickly. It would be over here, and then graphics. Nope, not there. Somewhere here. Here we go. Signs. So I assigned that one to... no, this one. Here we go. Helmet. Okay. So let's choose helmet then from here. Helmet. And then plant that one. And there we go. We have the correct sign. And then it's somewhere over here between these two windows. Maybe we could get it lined up right with those dividing planks. Okay, that's gonna have to do. Unfortunately, the wooden won't let me, the wooden wall type won't let me push it in any further than that, so we're gonna have to make do. The thicker walls, these ones will let me get it nicely nestled inside there. Now, what is next? We were gonna do this one. And I'm gonna have to figure out a nice tree to plant right on that spot as well. Single door over here, wooden door, and that's going to be a window, wooden window, and are all of them windows in this one? This one does not have. Almost looks like there is well, actually they are quite spaced apart, so it actually has windows going all around. But I'm trying to think about if I want to put bookshelves in that spot, and knowing the Wurm bookshelves, I think I'm going to want to keep this one as just a plain wall actually, but we'll put a window there and we'll put one here, and we'll put plain wooden one next to those. Just realized, I realized that there are a lot of people coming to this stream and they have no idea what the heck is going on here. And they have no idea what this project is, and they have no idea what Wurm is. And you know what I should really do? I should add an image from my stream with a link to check out the page for this project, so that people could like investigate. And if you guys want to see like videos explaining what this project is, I do have them on my YouTube channel. You can find the link in the, if you look at the bottom, like the panels on my channel, on my Twitch channel, there is a YouTube link there. And then the plain wall we're going to put right here. Finalize. And let's put the door here. Well, actually I have now the plane wall is now selected, so we're gonna actually build this one, so I don't have to choose it. There we go. And then the door. That's a single door. Wooden door. And wooden window. To make one of those graphics for sure. And it's a bit tricky, like when choosing like which game that you're streaming, because I have both Wurm Unlimited open and Ultima as well. Now everyone already in the Wurm community, they already know about this project, but I'm thinking there's probably a lot of like UO players out there who would find this very interesting, and since it is UO that we're trying to replicate here, I did decide to choose UO as the sort of game that we're playing, and it would be very cool to have a lot of UO players like discover this project, and because I think for a lot of UO players, at least for myself, even though I was always a fan of the legacy client, and I enjoy the pixel. I always play with the old client myself. Like I've never been one of the people who has pushed for a 3D client ever when I was playing UO. However, I've always been curious, you know, had they ever made a first-person 3D version of UO, what would that view have looked like? What would it have looked like to gaze over to Dagger Isle or to New Yelm, or to see the mountains behind Britain, you know? And what would it have looked like from my character's perspective to actually walk through the world? And I've always been curious about that. And so that's the curiosity that I'm trying to satisfy here. And this is actually going to be, you see how this wood is more tinted than this one. It's like a darker one, so we're going to have to tint we're going to use the same walls, but we're going to tint them to be a bit darker, and I'm going to have to get another tub set up for that then. So we're going to put a door here. Door, and those are going to be that middle one actually. Well, we're just going to put windows to all of those. Wooden window. Those are all windows, yes. And we need to make the sign. So what is this place called? This is called the Mighty Axe. Okay. And it's using the shield, and so that was the helmet sign, if I remember correctly. So the Mighty Axe, and then the helmet icon. And then just plant that down. we go. That is looking fine so far. Let's just try from the side, just a smidgen. No, it's not gonna budge. Oh, it did budge a little bit. Good, and I wonder if I should get that die set up. So let's create another tub, and we shall fill that one with the dye for this darker wall type. And let's make that one supreme just so I can tell it apart. And we're gonna make some dye to fill that up with. And here I should probably name this. So let's name that one. This is the cream, and then this one we need to make some dye. And then choose the RGB value again, which would be in this case wooden walls dark brown, 164, 141, 164, 141, and 126. And hopefully we will get the right color. And quality 99, and just make a whole bunch of it, and it should fill up this other dye. There we go. Now let's rename that as well, just so we keep track. So darker wood. Okay, and let's see how the color turns out. Yeah, that's about right. And I'm not hearing actually any sounds whatsoever from Wurm, which is a bit strange. Do I just have it on so low? There we go. Because I want to hear that nice little... You're supposed to hear this nice little sort of watery sound when you paint stuff, if I remember correctly. Or am I just imagining things? Maybe I'm thinking about UO and how... Yeah, I'm probably thinking about UO, you know, when you're using the dye tub and then you paint something and you get this lovely little sound. I'm confusing it with that. That's what I'm doing. But regardless, still a bit nice to hear the sounds of Wurm. There we go. And that doesn't have any dividing room. Did this one have any dividing? No, that one doesn't have any dividing walls either. Good. Hello, Breaker. Nice to see you on the stream. Welcome. I'm just in the midst of building Moonglow here. Breaker, have you, just a question since I know you're a Wurm person, right? Have you played around with the God mode in Wurm Unlimited at all yourself? Because I was just wondering to myself, is there a way with the Ebony Wand, is there a way to actually enchant grass and stuff manually, or do you have to paint the tile and choose the enchanted version from there? Okay, what is next is then this building over here. And that's also going to be a darker brown. Oh, hold on. It's this one. This sort of cross-shaped one. And then we shall finalize the build plan. And I need to now decide what side I'm going to put the double doors on. Because it looks like the grid didn't quite match up with because the thing is that of course UO also has a grid, but the grid sections are clearly, I mean, they're clearly much smaller than the ones that you have in UO. So, and then if I were to make this building to be, you know, three tiles wide, that would be just way too big. So I have to make do with the worm system. Okay, Breaker. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's hard to keep track of like who has played. I've met so many of you guys, and it's hard to keep track of who has played online, who has played Unlimited, who has played both of them. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because there's this thing we're using, like if you play Wurm Unlimited, you get, and you wanna like you wanna make your own server, or else if you're given the right, you get this handy dandy fantastic ebony wand, and it allows you to do what we're doing here, obviously. And I was just wondering if there's an enchantment option, but maybe Valiance will show up at some point and he might be able to say. So what to do now with the entrance here? What to do? Of course, what I could try is then making both of these double doors just for the heck of it. Let's see how that looks. And let's just put that road here. Slate bricks. And see if it looks completely ridiculous or not. So wooden double door. And it does look a little bit silly, doesn't it? But I don't know. I wonder if I will actually, maybe what I'll do is I'll make them both just single doors, because that looks kind of silly. That looks a bit silly. And oh yeah, I have to delete that now. Oh yeah, I was playing those as well, back in the 90s. Those were the best of times, Which of the single player Ultimas was your favorite? Or have we discussed this? I can't keep track of that either. We've had so many discussions about the old Ultima games as well on the stream. So wooden door, just the single one, and do that for that, and that looks, I think, a little bit more reasonable. You don't want to have two double doors right next to each other, do you? Just a plain wall. And then over here, plain wall here as well. And then over here, and here as well. And here. And I think the rest of those are probably windows then. Wooden window. You pretty much played all of the single-player Ultimas, as well as Might and Magic, Bard's Tale, some of your favorite games. You know, I missed out on the Might and Magic games. I do remember their existence from that time. I even remember kind of like what the logo looks like for that game, but I never, for some reason, got around to actually trying it. And that's a plain wall as well. Yeah. I have to admit that I really wanted to sort of play through all of the Ultimas, but the main one that I ever played was the Pagan, the 8th one. I did dabble a little bit with the other ones, but the Pagan was the only one I actually got through. And then we're gonna dye this. So what are you working on in Wurm right now? I've been thinking of, in my deed, I've been thinking of actually not annihilating, what is it? What is it when you tear down a building? I have to demolishing one of my buildings, because I'm realizing that it's not so practical, and I need to, and now that we have the bridges and you can attach those to the buildings, I've been thinking of making a proper storage where you can get to higher levels as well, but it's going to be a big endeavor to work on that for sure. There we go. Oh, now I'm being silly, guys. This was not the dark color. So we're gonna actually have to get that brush out and remove all of that paint. That is silly, silly, silly. Darn. I was just in my thoughts. I was trying to think about like all of like it. My thoughts started to revolve about all of the stuff that I want to do on my deed in Wurm Online. There's so much. It's like an endless list of projects in that game for sure. Okay, is that all of the walls? Yes, now I have to be careful and not make that mistake again. Okay, the next building. You're just early in the game, and now I actually remember, I think I remember when we've discussed things with you, yes. So you've just made your first rowboat. Congratulations on that. That is awesome. That is such an amazing feeling once you build your first ship in or like a vessel in Wurm. It is just the most amazing feeling of freedom to be able to then explore. I bet you've been doing lots of exploring, right? And you made a stone wall around your deed, but you look forward to more boat building and making your main house. Yes. And well, now of course that you have your boat, are you not tempted to go and do a little bit of exploring and see whether that is the actual location you want to settle down in? Because you might find a nicer place. Unless of course you have a very nice place to begin with where there would of course be no reason to move. I just found when I had gotten my first boat, the first thing I wanted to do was go out and find my dream location to settle down in and build my deed in. But of course you have a deed now set up already, right? Did I understand correctly? So you would not be sort of, it would not be the most natural thing to go and start all over somewhere else. Thank you so much for the follow, Jibril, and welcome to the stream. Nice to have you join us. And feel free to ask if you're wondering what the hell is going on here. By the way, Breaker, I've been trying to ask the people here whether the volumes are okay, but everyone's been kind of quiet, so how is the volume, like the voice versus the music? Is the music too loud, or is my voice too quiet or anything like that, or does it sound all pretty balanced? You're really happy on your deed, and you even have a mine. Oh, that's... Oh, and you spent ages terraforming this week. Okay, well that's awesome then. It sounds like you're really set to go then. Yeah, a mine is just like, you can't do without a mine. You have to get that iron ore, don't you, to really do anything in the game. So that's awesome. And you got your hang on terraforming as well then, I guess, because when I first started Wurm, like I could not get my head around the terraforming part, like how, you know, raising and lowering the tiles. I just assumed that you go and stand in the middle of the tile and then it goes up or down. And I didn't like grasp the concept of the fact that it's like a tile and it's the corners that you need to raise and lower. And once I finally got it, I was like, ah, this is how it works. But it's really tricky to figure that out in the beginning. Good evening, Wurm Simon. Nice to see you. Welcome to the stream. Oh, Jibriel, thank you so much. I'm glad to hear that this is something, because the reason I asked Jibriel is because I think there's a lot of people sort of dropping in here who are UO players who have found the stream only because they were checking which streams are like streaming UO right now, right? So they have no idea what the hell is going on here. But that's very cool to hear that you've been following this project. And what we're working on right now is Moonglow, as you might have seen. So, Jibril, are you a UO player, or do you play Wurm, or do you play both of them? Or have you just followed like otherwise? Break, are you remembered for 10 years? Oh yes, you were the person who had been playing before, and now you had come back. Yeah, that's such a big thing to learn. That's good that you didn't have to sort of relearn that. How are you doing tonight, Wurm Simon? How are things on Mystic Highlands? And is Valiance's what's the name of his character again? That character he's trying to keep alive. Is his character still alive? Or has he died yet? So this is the square one, right? Yes. So this one we do actually die. So let's grab our handy dandy darker wood dye. And then just get that all nice and dark. Bilbo, that's the one. So is Bilbo still alive? Has Valiance managed to keep him alive? It's going to be interesting to see just how far he gets with that character. I really like the concept though for something to stream. Like, it's quite exciting to watch, like how he manages with that character, and just the nostalgia of remembering how it felt to play, to start with a new character in Wurm back in the day, and all the things you had to sort of struggle with in the beginning. Okay, that is looking good enough. That's at least the best we can do with the tools that we have. I wonder if we should make a sandstone. I'm really tired of looking at those wooden buildings for now. Let's just teleport over here and work on this sandstone one for a change. Today he was still alive. That's good. That's good. Oh, a bear chased him out of the tar pit today. Oh dear. And I bet it was a grizzly bear as well, right? There we go. And finalize that. And this is a bit tricky because the entrance, of course, is not quite as wide as I have it here, but I had to get it lined up with the grid, with the Wurm grid, so I just had to make a compromise. I could have made it, this part I could have made 2 tiles wide, but then when you look inside here, it's rather narrow at the end of the day. So I have to make do with this one now. So let's start off with the arch, and let's put a single arch right there in the middle. Sandstone arch. Sandstone arch. There we go. And that will be a plain wall over there. And do we have any other plain walls inside? No, the rest of them are all of those narrow windows. Sandstone window narrow. Okay. I really love the sandstone. Like it's just amazing. Like every year they keep on adding like new cool stuff to Wurm, and I have to say that the new wall types, I'm so happy about them. I have tinted this sandstone. As you can see, it looks a little bit more warm than the one in like the normal version, because I wanted to get it matched up with the sandstone in UO. So the one in Wurm is a little bit more dingy, a little bit darker, a little bit less saturated than this version. If you were wondering, if you're looking at it and wondering if you're seeing things or not. So, but even the original version is also very, very nice. Although I would prefer that it would be just a little bit more saturated like this one is. A little bit brighter. There we go. Okay, now let's see, what do we do next? Should we do the other sandstone over here? Maybe we will do that since we're at it. While we're at it. Jibril, you're saying that oh, you found me through the UO channel, okay? And you've played UO since you were 8 or 9, and you're 28 now. So you've been playing your whole life, basically. Wow. Yeah, my sons. I was the mother of 2 sons when I started first playing UO. That would have been in 1999, and I was actually around your age at that time, and then when my sons became old enough, when they were around that same age, you know, 5, 6, 7, something around that time, they started to play. I have a fun story for you. So my 2 sons, they have different dads, and there's always been this kind of jealousy thing about me between them when they were smaller, and they did not get along very well, my 2 sons. And then they both started playing. I allowed them to start playing Ultima Online. And at first they were playing each on different machines, probably different times sometimes, playing completely separately. They were not, they didn't meet up in the game or anything like that. It was actually more of a competition. They were sort of boasting to each other that, well, I got such and such nice armor, and today I killed blah 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 blah, right? And then there was this one moment where the older son was trying to take down a really, really hard monster, and he realized that actually he could get his little brother to come and help him. And so they met up together in Ultima Online, and they went together and they killed that monster together. And from that point on, it changed everything. And now from that point on, you know, I mean, soon after then they were, you know, helping each other like fight stuff, and they were always like playing together, and they were helping each other get good armor and stuff. And since that point on, they've been best buddies. Isn't that amazing that Ultima Online changed the relationship for my sons? It's just absolutely adorable. So Oh, your mum played UO too. So is that how you found Ultima Online, Jibriel? Because my sons now, they are now 20 and 26. So around your age as well. A little bit younger. That's so cool actually. Imagine, your mum was playing. So did you find UO through your mum? Yeah, yeah, my site is AndreaNet, that's right. I have my UO site there and I also have a Wurm site there. Okay, this is the one we're working on over here. Okie dokie, let's see now. This is gonna, actually guys, I kinda messed up. So what we need to do is make 2 buildings, because this is gonna be a tall wall. Okay, so let's just demolish this actually. Demolish, hold on. Structure destroys structure, yes, demolish it. Okay, let's start over. I was not focusing, I was so engrossed in telling my story of my sons. Oh, you guys got your mum into UO. Cool. Yeah, like UO is the best. The way I found UO was simply because I was an old fan of the work Richard Garriott had done with the Ultima single-player games. Oh yes, before I can build another building I have to first make this one. So that center one is going to be the arched. Yes, this is going to be perfect. This is going to work out perfectly. So let's put sandstone arch here. So, Jibriel, do you all play UO still? Or have you guys moved on to other games? And that's going to be sandstone. Unfortunately, we do not have these decorative versions. We're just going to have to go with the plain one in Wurm. There we go. And that's also a plain one over there. And this one is as well. Because I'm telling you, what I play these days is Wurm Online, which is the MMO version. And I have my own island there, and I build all kinds of stuff on my island. Of course, I'm trying to make it into as cozy and medieval island as possible, building a town there. And then this is Wurm Unlimited, which is the standalone version of the MMO game. So using exactly same graphics, same engine, everything is pretty much identical. This allows players to then make their own servers. Sort of like UO free shards, except in this case you're completely allowed and encouraged to do it. And you're encouraged to also make mods and like modify as needed, so it's really, really cool. Sandstone narrow window is what we need for this one. Let's just delete that wolf. And let's get those ones over there. Good. So now, oh, we need to do these walls as well. You guys started out on Great Lakes when you were younger. Four of you boys were playing Aussie for a while. Then your uncle made a sphere server. What's a sphere server? And it had a population of around 60. All your brothers were against each other. We all led the better guilds fighting each other. Oh wow! So all your guilds were like fighting each other. Oh my gosh, that sounds so exciting. Oh my goodness. Except the oldest brother, he was all of your guys' crafter. That sounds so much fun. Like, I'm not a PvP person, but I can imagine. Like, my sons, obviously they were like completely into the PvP side of. I'm not a PvP person myself, but my sons, they love the PvP of UO. Right, yeah, people have been telling me about this Outland server. Yeah. You know, I never played, like back in the day I was playing all the Aussie shards. I never played the free shards, even though my sons were playing them. Like, first they were playing Aussie shards through my accounts, right? Um, but then later on, when they wanted to play UO just on their own, and I wasn't paying for a subscription anymore, they decided to play on the free shards. And so I never played on those until just recently. I started up a thief on UO Renaissance. I want a shard that is more for this sort of older role-playing mindset, kind of PvE kind of mindset kind of person. So I'm assuming if Renaissance is the right choice for someone like myself. But yes, everyone has been telling me about this Outlands server that is very much anticipated. So that's going to be interesting to hear what your guys' experience is with that. And what is your mom playing these days? Does she also play UO still? Sandstone wall. And about Wurm, so basically Wurm, mechanic-wise, Wurm is pretty much identical to UO. It doesn't have a class system like in World of Warcraft. Instead, it has skills just like we have in UO. The only thing is that there's no restriction of 700 points. You can endlessly learn all the skills if you feel like it. The only exception being that there's special rules regarding the majory stuff. So I'm just realizing that that's actually opening right there. Now which side to put it on though? There's not even a little pathway or anything. That's a little bit strange. Maybe I should try the double-sided one, just see how that would look. Sandstone left. That looks weird. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna put the arch on this side. Just the single arch. And about Wurm, so in Wurm, instead of having plots like you have in UO, you claim a bit of land. And on that land, you can build whatever you want, like how many houses you want, whatever shape, size. Well, you can see how the building is happening here. You can catch animals, you can breed animals, they all have their own traits. You can crossbreed them to make better, like I've been crossbreeding my horses to get the fastest kinds of horses you can get in Wurm. You can plant crops on your deed, harvest them, and you can plant fruit trees. And the game has like seasons, it has the time of day, it has different weather. You can build your own ships. You know how in UO there was a couple of ships that you could buy? Well, in Wurm you build them yourself. Well, you can buy, if somebody is a shipbuilder, and buy one off another player, of course. And that's a very lucrative business actually. But you can build them yourself, and there's many different kinds of ships with different traits to the ships. And you can, like UO, you can also explore seamlessly. So everything you see here, like all of those mountains you see off in the distance, they can all be climbed, they can all be explored. You can tunnel into the mountains and create mines. It's really an awesome game. And it was originally made by Rolf and Notch. So Notch was the guy who made Minecraft. And those two guys together in Sweden made this game, or Wurm Online rather, the MMO version, and then Notch went off to make Minecraft after that. So there, the terraforming aspect of Minecraft you have also in Wurm. So you can terraform the land to your liking. Breakor, I'm not selling my horses actually anymore because after Wurm Unlimited came out, the business just like died out completely. And I also live in such a remote area that it's not worth my while to anymore like sell those. But if you need a horse, just come on by and I'll give you one for free. You don't have to. I have more than enough on my deed. Let's see, we need narrow windows here. No, those are actually square windows. Are these actually all square windows? And the windows over here were, yes, these are the ones that, okay, so I have to change those to square windows actually. It's a different shaped kind, so let's actually, this is a bit nitpicky, nobody's ever going to notice this, but let's do it right. So we need this kind over here, sandstone window, just the plain window, there we go. And same thing for these two. I do like those narrow windows though. They are so beautiful. So the way to play Wurm Online, it's Wurm with U. So Wurm with a U, Wurm Online, and then just press the play button. It's free to play. The one I have open here is Wurm Unlimited, the standalone, like for people to make their own server. So that's on Steam, and that actually costs, but it doesn't cost too much. It's like maybe 20 euros or something. I'm not sure what the price is right now. But you should definitely, if you ever want to try Wurm, start off with the MMO version for sure. And then I would recommend, as a new player, to probably start off in one of the smaller servers, just so that there's going to be, because they're more populated and more busy. So you want to have, you don't want it to feel like, I live in a remote area on purpose because I want my peace and quiet. But I think for a new player, it's kind of nice to have those other people around. That's all a matter of taste, of course, though. And I can just very quickly show. Hold on. I'm just gonna quickly show you what my island looks like on Wurm Online. I'm just gonna open this kind of like tool quickly. Let's see. Let's see. D planner. Load, and then village plan. Okay, so in Wurm you can also export your land that you own, because then you can import it into this kind of, like, this is a program, this is not the game itself, this is just a little helper program to help you plan out like how you want to build your buildings. So it obviously makes it much easier if you export your entire, so I own this entire island here in Wurm Online, and I use this tool to plan out, you know, how I'm going to build my buildings, how I'm going to terraform. I've obviously had to terraform, you know, to get a pathway up here. I've had to, this is where I have all my crops, and the graphics look really crappy in this because this is just the tool, right? This is not the actual game itself. And then I have this sort of harbor area on my island, and I keep my vendors, like you can have vendors also in Wurm just like you can in UO, and I keep my vendors there, and I have a ship building, like building over there in my storage, and I have stables up here. And of course you can't see any animals in this whatsoever right now, because this is just the tool to plan what you want to do for your deed. And I have a castle up there. But yeah, so in UO, you claim a little plot and you're pretty much restricted to that, but in Wurm you can own land. And let's just imagine for a second that this is Wurm Online right now. All of that land there is for the taking unless somebody had claimed a plot. But it costs also to, like, you have to pay like rent for the land that you own. So it's not like anyone would just like make a really huge area and just gobble up all of the land from other people. So there is definitely places you can find to like build your own little place. And that's what you're enjoying right now. Breaker, you've just started off with your first little deed, and you've made your first rowboat, and you've just made a little wall around your deed, and you're anxious to start building your buildings and stuff. So Breaker, have you actually been using Deed Planner to help plan out your deed? You might want to consider doing that. You can do the export from the deed token. What did we need to do? Windows over here. And I guess one of the biggest benefits of Wurm is the people, like just the best community ever. Really nice, mature, friendly people in the game. And they're so helpful. They're like even too helpful for my taste, to be honest. Like I want to do things on my own, and people tend to be a little bit too helpful sometimes. So you have to just tell them that, sorry, I want to do this on my own. Thank you very much. I think the reason that people are overly helpful in Wurm is just because it's such a small game, so they really want to make anyone who comes to the game like feel super welcome. But what people need to remember as well is that one of the joys of Wurm is doing things yourself the hard way as well. Let's see, sandstone wall, we want the tall wall, so hold on, sandstone fence, would it be this one? Let me see. Fence, sandstone, tall. Here we go. There we go. So it's not exactly like in UO, but it's just gonna have to do, I'm afraid. Fence, sandstone, tall wall. There we go. And then we need the entrance. So 2 more over here. Sandstone. And here. Oops, need to be right aligned nicer. There. Good. And then it's going to look much more similar once we get the roofs on there as well. But I don't want to add the roofs yet. I want to actually leave all the roofs off and then do the decoration first. And then we will add the roofs as a last final touch. And of course we need to do all the furnishing. This has a hold on. Sign, Counselor's Guild. Okay. So Breaker, let me see what you're saying here. So you totally flattened your deed now. It's really small, so you wanted to maximize its use. You still have your ambition of going around Xanadu visiting people in Anor, hoping to get to know people and maybe record it. Oh yeah, now I remember you actually mentioning that one time. Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be super awesome for sure. Now, you should definitely do that. I mean, I think that would make a really nice video. You know, somebody newish to the game. Well, new at least on this time. You're new, even if you have played before. But you're fresh to the game now since a long time, and to do that kind of tour from the perspective of somebody just starting out, I think that would be really, really exciting to watch. And really sort of cozy and lovely too, because I think a lot of us old Wurm players who've been playing for years and years, we you know, it's this thrill of reliving that early excitement when somebody just starts the game. So, let's see, Counselor's Guild was this called? Yes. Counselor's Guild. And then the sign type was... It's this one, so it's just the... Oh, it doesn't have any image whatsoever, so that should be good to go. There we go. And how is that placed in UO? Something like that, maybe. Just pull it over a bit. Maybe we could get that lined up with this wooden part, actually. Like so. Perfect. Good, good. Yeah, Jibril, please do so. You might just actually find that you fall in love with the game. I mean, if I think about what is the next best thing after UO and getting that sort of similar UO experience, like most definitely, for me at least, Wurm Online has been that game. It is, I mean, obviously there's a lot of sort of charm that UO has from it being an isometric pixel game, especially if you play the legacy client, that you're not going to get in a 3D game, but on the other hand, there's stuff that the 3D game can offer as well. So, okay, what do we need to do next? That is good to go until we get to the furnishing. Did we put a sign here yet? We did not. To the mage's place. So this is Moonglow's Finest Alchemy. Okay. Rename Moonglow's Finest Alchemy. And then the picture was Anchor. Anchor is here. Good. And how is that looking now? It's right on the edge, but I don't want to put it quite. That's a little bit too close to the corner to my taste, but maybe I can just pull it over just a smidgen. Maybe just a smidgen. Okay, that will do. Good. And then what do we... I actually want to do this middle part. I'm super curious to see how this turns out. And I do have a grid plan for it, so I'm going to have to whip out my grid plan here in Photoshop. Hold on. Grid for planning cities. And see how I planned out the plan for that. Oh, you have 4 kids too now. Wow, you have been busy. My goodness, for somebody who's 27, you have been mega busy. So, are any of them at the age yet that they are playing UO? Imagine a day when your kids, you, and your mom all play UO. Wouldn't that be amazing? Like 3 generations? So that is you. We do not need to go to you. We need to go to Moonglow. So how did I plan out the plan for this thing here now? Let's see. Here it is. And we don't need that one. We need this one. Okay, so let's see. Hedge. We should start off. That is going to be in the middle in any case. So let's start off with. Let's start off with making the outer hedges up until this point, and I see that it's actually got you've got two fences going on. So you've got the metal one, but you've also got the hedge, and we cannot put both of those because the fences in Wurm they're put on these kinds of like edge pieces of the tile. So we are gonna have to just settle for the hedge and keep that one only. I'm gonna use the maple hedge because that's my absolute favorite. And then the middle entrance, the middle is these two tiles here. So let's start off here then. And I should make a keybind for that, to be honest, because otherwise this is going to be a pain to build. So let's see, fence. Do I have one for, hold on. Chain fence. Sandstone. I think I'm going to have to make one, which means I'm going to have to turn this option on in Wurm to check what it is, the keybind number or the identifier. So let's see. Fence and hold on. Oh yes, I need to make sprouts, of course. Okay, so maple sprouts. Now I remember how this is done. Sprout and maple. Not birchwood, but maple. Where is maple? Where is it? There it is. And let's make just a crap load of them. 300. Yes. Okay. So you need lots of them when you're going to make one of these hedges. Let's see what happens. You need to have at least 5 sprouts of the same kind in your inventory. Oh, I'm doing the wrong one. So let's actually delete these ones out of the way. These lavenders. Okay, now this should work. Plant naturally. Fifth is on the way. Oh my goodness, you guys are gonna be so. How is there ever gonna be time to play UO? My goodness. I have to admit that 2 was enough for me. I got sterilized after my second one. I was like, and my kids were relatively calm kids as well. I didn't have the wildest of kids. It was just like, oh my gosh, this is gonna go on forever and ever and ever if I don't do something. So let's just grow that by 1. Oh my goodness. So once all the kids are more grown up, you and your wife can recruit them to come into Ultima Online and farm gold for you, right? Put them to do like, what's the word, menial? What's the word when you have to, when it's something just very sort of everyday drudgery type of task. You can get them to grind the game and gather a whole bunch of gold for you. I'm so evil. Exactly, yes, that's the way to go. I never had that wisdom when when my kids were small. I should have totally taken advantage of that. And yeah, I was just thinking about like your mom. So Did I miss your response, Jibriel? Like, I think I asked, is your mom still playing UO? And if she is not, what is she playing any MMO right now? Like, I'm just thinking she would probably love Wurm as well. They've just added a new skill to Wurm, which is archaeology, and it's really cool because what you do is you hold on. Oh yes, no, what am I doing? You, in archaeology, what you do is you travel around, and before I forget, in Wurm, you know how there's the IDOCs, the in danger of collapsing houses in UO, right? Well, you have the same thing in Wurm as well. So, if people like stop playing or they have not paid their rent for their deed, their houses will start decaying, and all the stuff on their place will start decaying, and it's free to go and loot once the houses have fallen. So I will very often go on my ship, and you also have a telescope like in the game, and I'm looking at the shorelines with my telescope as I'm sailing by like different parts of the land, and I'm checking to see if I see any houses that look really decayed. And I've gotten so much stuff from just looting like decayed deeds in Wurm. It's not even funny. And that's really fun to do. And then that's how I was thinking, that's how it's related to archaeology, because the new skill that they have archaeology now is that you go and you like you dig up like fragments from old deeds, places where people used to live, and you will get a report on, like, if you have a very high skill, you can get a report on like who used to live there, who used to own that land. And then if you're lucky, you will get like little fragments of stuff that like to create and if you put the fragments together, you'll get like these really rare statues and stuff like that. So I've just started with that skill myself, but I'm really sort of excited to get more into it, because I've only been able to like create like crappy things, like, you know, maybe a metal ingot or you know, a wooden plank or something like this, but I have not yet gotten any fragments of the statues, so I'm really looking forward to doing that. But and one really nice thing about Wurm is that they have kept the same balance for the skills as well, so they don't nerf the skills. So if you've used like a year to train up a skill, it's not gonna be changed suddenly in the game, then it lose all its worth, like that has happened so many times in UO. It's so frustrating. Oh yes, it's so fun to do Breaker. You should. Yeah, it is cool that it has also this similar system. I have to admit though, Jibril, I'm gonna be honest here, that the excitement of finding a house in danger of collapsing in UO is much more exciting. I don't know exactly what it is. I think it's the element that you know that everyone else is also hunting for those, and you know that there is the likelihood of getting things like, you know, server birth rares or like really valuable things. And I have found some valuable things from the fallen houses in Wurm, but they're more along the lines of like enchanted tools, enchanted weapons, stuff like that. Like, whereas in UO you would have the possibility to find a huge pile of gold, like, you know, and that would not happen in Wurm. But it's still a really exciting thing to do. It's just not quite as exciting as it is in UO. Okay, now we have the outer edges, and I almost feel like turning this all to be enchanted grass. I think I will do that. I will do that. Or, no. I think I'll keep it lawn, actually. Let's see. How did I plan out the grid here? So we need to... The teleport thing is going to be over here. But how in the heck am I going to do that, actually? because you can't. It's gonna have to just be a tile. Yeah, I'm gonna mark those tiles for now. We can't get this kind of cool elevated thing like you see here, unfortunately. So we're just gonna have to put a tile there. And let's mark that for now. Sandstone bricks. Like that. And where else did I mark them? In that corner as well. And then I think here and here and then down here. Good. And then the lines, so I do believe we need to start. Well, that one at least has two right in the front here, so let's plant these hedges here. Your mom has taken over a farm in real life, so she doesn't have much time to game. Oh, I see. Wow, that is a lot of work. Yeah, I can imagine. My goodness, that is a huge, huge responsibility for sure. I hope she's enjoying herself. I think there's a part of all of us who live in the modern world that we there's this very romantic like idea of having a farm and just going back to nature, and but I guess it's a lot of work, isn't it? So the server you played changed the system for edocs recently and basically gave the location to everyone, as in server event removed the legwork. Oh, that's not cool though. Like, to me personally, one of the big thrills of the edocs is hunting them out and scanning them and looking for them, and that whole excitement of, oh, I wonder if anyone else has noticed that there's an edoc here and I have to keep it a secret, and then for them to let you know where the edocs are, let everyone know, that means that there's going to be huge fights at all of them. I wouldn't like it like that at all, to be honest. Let's see. And then this one zigzags down twice. So one over here. And does that look correct though? Yes, it does look correct. Okay. And then one over here. Oh yeah, so you were really into edocs then back in the day. It removed the fun for you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What a weird like thing for them to do. What is the point in that? Like, and I have to say, well, I'm not a PvP person, so the whole fight thing of the edoc situation does not really sound very attractive to me, to be honest. Like, for me, for somebody like me who doesn't fight, then that was the whole point of it, that, oh, like, I'm really hoping nobody else has noticed this so that I can safely get all this stuff. And then the sort of chance of then other people had noticing, and then them coming out of hiding and killing you and stuff. So there's always this gamble, right? Does it go that way? Yes, it does. Okay. And then one turns this way and goes down. So like this. And then like that. Yes. Okay. It's not perfect, but it's not perfectly like in UO, but it is getting pretty close. Let's see. And then this one definitely has a little wall over here. and then on the back side of it as well. Like so. And then it dips down. Like so. Okay. Then, over at this side, let's just go up, mosey on up here. And how have I planned it out then in Photoshop? So 2 up, and it needs a wall. So right here. And another one next to it. And then 1 down. And how does that go in UO? Okay, so this actually needs walls around it. Or hedges, rather. Good. I really... it's really weird. I get some kind of weird satisfaction from that sound when you either pick a sprout or else you plant a sprout. That little crunchy sound. It's really quite delightful to listen to. And then over here, this is like divided in 2 basically. Let me just check my grid here. So 2 from the edge. So right here. And another 1 down. And then 1 to the side. Yeah, this is really cool. I'll tell you about something cool about Wurm. So, you know how you can chop trees in UO and get logs? Well, you can also chop trees in Wurm, and then the tree actually physically falls, and it even gives off a little poof of like dust when it falls. And then trees, they all have different attributes in I guess it's the same in UO as well. They all have different attributes. Some are more flexible, some are more sturdy, some decay less quickly, and some bear fruit. The maple trees give maple syrup, and so on and so on and so on. But you can also harvest sprouts from them, so you can pick little sprouts from trees if you want to plant them in new locations. And once you chop down a tree, it will be left with a stump, and you can also like remove the stump if you want, or like plant a new tree in its place, or whatever you want to plant. But so I have a whole inventory of these sprouts in my crates. Never can have too many sprouts. So what do we need to do next? Hold on. So this goes down like that. Okay, I guess we have 1 here, don't we? Yes, and 1 down. No, hold on. I am... No, I think I messed up. Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? Hold on. I have messed up something and my game is kind of acting wonky now. So, what should I do? Let me see. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to just start up the... I think I messed something up there. And it's sort of like stuck in some kind of weird loop, so I'm just gonna restart my server. or the client rather. The server is already running, I don't have to restart that one. Well, let's just start up the old client. Steam. Oh, it gives you the same feeling, Breakor. Isn't it the cutest little sound? It's so satisfying. That's so weird, like try and explain that, why that would sound satisfying. It's so weird. Okay, now is everything looking normal? Because there's been some weirdness going on. Yes, everything looks normal. Good. And Breaker, sorry, not Breaker, but Gibriel, since you're here now new, have you seen the other Ultima Nostalgia videos? Because if you have not, I could have given you a little tour of New Yelm, which is close by, just so you can see what the end result ends up looking like in this. Now, can I actually destroy this or not? Destroy fence? Good, yes. There was something messed up earlier on. I probably pressed some kind of wrong thing. Not sure what I did there. So let's get this full screen, and the time of day seems pretty good. We can just adjust that when it gets too dark. And let's have another look here now. How does this go? So it should. So I need to make it here. I thought so. I thought it was a little bit messed up. And then that one goes down. And then again, like here. And then one down. This is starting to look a little bit more normal. Good. Oh, now I remember, I need to get it all lined up so we can see Ultima Online at the same time. We want to be able to watch both of those at the same time. There we go. I do love that you can just, that in Wurm you can just resize your window any way you see fit, and you can resize all the UI elements, pretty much all of the UI elements as well. That's really nice. Okay, let's see. How are we doing here? What actually spawns here? Let's see. Oh, birds, cats, dogs, and rats. Well, we can do the spawning stuff later on. Then, and so, hold on. How have I planned this? It goes down by 2, and then there's an ending right there. Okay. Where did my inventory go? It's over here. Oh, why does it keep throwing it over there? Hold on. Because it tends to make like a new template every time you resize. It's like making a new template for the how the UI stuff is set up. So. Then one over here. Good. How is that looking now? I think all the hedges are now done. Pretty much. I mean, it's not exactly like you see it in... Maybe I could just add one right here to make, just fill in that like little spot. Even though it doesn't go up here. But just so it looks more like a hedge maze should all sort of, that there are no two tile wide. And let's put one here as well, actually, to make it a bit more mazy. Good. And I'm gonna have to figure out later on what I do about the, I mean, I know you can make teleports in Wurm as well, in Wurm Unlimited. I have no idea how that's done though, but there is some way to do that. Like they have on Mystic Highlands as well. let's see, what do we do next? What do we do next? Well, we could go and build the rest of the buildings and then start furnishing them. And I do really want to get actually to that. I wonder if I should be naughty now and just go over to the zoo. I am dying. I'm literally dying to make the zoo and furnish it and, or not furnish, but decorate it and put all the animals in there. I want to do this so badly. So now, since there's quite a few people on the stream, let's actually do the funnest part of Moonglow and do the zoo. And let's just zap over here as well. Let's see how that looks. Over here. Okay, good. And let's get the tiles. Let's start off with getting the correct tiles. So I am gonna use I have reskinned, well, we're going to use packed dirt actually for that. I have actually changed the texture to be like in UO. Packed dirt. And make that section like it is in UO. And then this one would just be, maybe I will make it into just plain grass. Then you get this bleeding thing, which is going to be a bit annoying once we put the fences up. So I don't think that can really be helped, though. That's something we're just going to have to live with. And this swampy area is, of course, we don't have that kind of swampy stuff in Wurm. So the best thing I can think of is, well, let's have a look in the item list actually. Hold on. Let's look at the terrain types in gardening and forestry, and at least we can use enchanted grass. That will at least be something, but then for the terrain, there's the enchanted grass. Marsh tile could be pretty good actually for that. I wonder if I should put marsh. I think marsh is actually the way to go. Let's just try and see how that would look. Maybe it could be marsh in the middle and then enchanted grass on the outside. Let's see. Let's just do that again. Marsh. Ugh, my goodness. You know what I think I'm probably going to do, guys? Is I am going to reskin that texture. Because I'm not using marsh in Ultima Nostalgia anywhere at all. And I am actually going to make this texture look as similar to this one as possible. I'm not going to do it now. Yeah, I'm going to do it later. I'm going to do it properly. But I'm going to later... Yeah, and let's put enchanted grass here for now. It's going to look really crappy for now. But it'll later look good. Enchanted grass. And hold on. Is there such a thing as enchanted swamp? No, I mean marsh. No, just grass. And I probably need to actually build those walls, because otherwise I'm going to lose track of where the walls go. So let's make a keybind for the wall type. So sandstone fence, is that let's see if this actually works. No, we want the tall one, don't we? Or is it the lower one? We want the tall one for sure. Okay, so let me just check what that is actually. Fence, sandstone, tall. Oh, and I need to put the thingy on again. Act show on, keybind. There, and then now we can see the ID. So fence, sandstone, tall wall is 882. Let's make a new one. Sandstone tall wall 882. And let's see how this works out. And whether this is gonna actually... Okay, it is working. Good. So let's get those fences actually down first thing, because otherwise I'm going to lose track of where the borders are going for this thing. This one has one in between. And then right there as well. And then we need a metal, the iron fence in between. Yeah, this is the way to go. Make those fences, lay down the fences first for sure. Let's get that the rain off and just set that weather to be a bit it's actually pretty good. Let's just freeze it though. And the entrance has one going right here. So let's put that on either side. And then close that one off as well. I could use the lower, like, sandstone fence as well. I'm just wondering, now I'm starting to wonder, because this detail kind of bothers me. Maybe I should do half with that and the other half with the normal sandstone. I do believe that is that one. So let me just actually copy this and make another keybind using the normal one. Because I'm just wondering if that's a little bit intimidating, that fence for this zoo, to be honest. And whether the normal lower one would be better. Let me just see how that would look. Let's see how that would look. That one. Maybe this one would actually be better. Well, I'm gonna have to see in a moment which one looks more reasonable, and then I'm gonna have to add those the metal fences as well and see how it looks with those as well. Of course, we do have the high iron fences, and so we could have either one. That's not a problem. And that has a door in between. That's interesting. I guess it's for the zookeepers, so they can access clean out the animal pens. And now, since we can only have, I'm just gonna put it in one of these. Oh, but now we're actually facing a problem. Okay. Okay, we're gonna have to use the portcullis actually for this. And now it's a decision because the only one we can have as a standalone fence kind of gate thing for that, which reminds you of oh, thank you so much for the follow, Nocturnal Llama, and welcome to the stream. Nice to have you join us. Because the problem is with the portcullis is that it is high, right? So I mean, I could make just a fence gate as well. Let me just see what that looks like. The portcullis we cannot do because that's too high. Sandstone iron fence gate. I mean, maybe we just have to do this. Or we do go, if we do go with the tall ones, then we can use the portcullis. We can't do a wooden door though. Well, let's actually add those iron ones in the gates and see how that is looking. So they would be iron, tall, high iron fence gate like so. And in this case, this is not a gate whatsoever. And actually I guess that's not a gate either, is it? Yeah, that's not a gate, so we should delete that. That's gonna just be a fence. High iron fence, and this is the lower one. Iron fence. Like so, and let's get that to be dirt in here. Dirt is probably the best one for that one. The problem with dirt, of course, is that Mother Nature and your worm is just gonna go planting like vegetation on that at some point. So I'm wondering, actually, is there a tile type that we could use that maybe reed? Reed looks like it might be a quite good match for that one. Let's see. Or step. Hey, we have the step now that I made for New Yelm, which is kind of sandy. Let's see how that would actually look. Step. Step, step. Let's see how that would look. That might be kind of nice. I mean, it is sandy though. Don't know. Hey there, Nocturnal Llama. So, how did you find this stream? And are you a Ultima Online player? Are you a Wurm player? Did you just find this by searching for UO streams, or I'm very curious to hear. Let's see. What else do we have here? Yeah. Unless I make it cliff. So what animals are actually supposed to be in this one? Zombies. Okay. Giant serpents, headless zombies. So like monstery kind of critters in here. Well, I'm just gonna keep it as this one for now. And that actually has the same one, so at least it looks better than the tiles. So that was just a placeholder just to mark the area. And now is the decision, guys. What do you guys think? Like, for making it look like UO, is it the high, these high tall sandstone walls, but they have this decoration part at the top which does not match UO, or do we go with the lower fences? I'm sort of leaning more towards the lower fences. Maybe I will actually just remove that and just make it a fence, to be honest. Ah, so you play UO and somebody linked it on Discord. Well, that's cool. Wow. So what did they say on Discord? Were they like, hey, check out this crazy old lady doing some weird crap with UO in some weird game, or Hey there, Timovich. Nice to see you. How are you doing tonight? Let's see. Let's add. I would love to hear your guys. What is your guys' opinion? Oops, wrong kind of iron fence. We needed this one. This one. There we go. So guys, what do you think? Tell me your honest opinion. Do you think we should go with the tall walls or should we go with the lower sandstone walls? I can't decide. You're doing good, Timowich. That's great to hear. I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much. I was just talking about this on the stream the other night, but like, I am free now. I have realized, guys, that I am actually free. So, you know, when you're a kid, it's like your parents are deciding what your life is going to be all about. Like, well, not what your life is going to be about, but like your parents decide basically where you live, what you have to do. You have to go to school, and so you're restricted by your parents and by school. Then you grow up and you find a partner, and then it's a compromise of living with that partner and their wants and needs. And then you start to have kids, and obviously they control what your life is all about for many, many, many years. And then if it's not kids or your parents or a partner, it's going to be your workplace that you are. We should use the sandstone one, actually, not that one. Sandstone iron fence. That looks much better, yes. And now that I made this big change with my work situation, so my kids are grown up, and I don't have a partner that I have to worry about compromising with. And then with my workplace, I am now starting to do freelance work, so I quit my office job. So I'm absolutely free. My destiny and my fate is all in my hands. And it's the first time in my entire life that I've been in this situation ever. There's always been something that has like sort of controlled that. And of course there have been things I've wanted. Obviously I wanted to have my kids. And I wanted to be in those relationships, and I wanted to be in those jobs, right? So it's not like they were bad things, but I have to say that it's super cool to be in this situation now where I freely decide how I use my time, where I go, whether I have to get up in the morning, if I can stay up all night late, and how I juggle my time work-wise and then personal time-wise. Oh, that's very sweet to hear, Nocturnal. Well, even if they're impressed, it's still true though that I'm a crazy old lady, so we can sort of have the best of both worlds. And Breaker, you very old zoos used to that parapet feel around the cages, did they? Oh, like you mean like in real life? Yeah, that is true actually. Let me just Google that. Let me see. Vintage. I mean, not that a zoo can be vintage, because vintage is more like an item, right? Vintage zoo poster. Oh, but that's just gonna be posters. That's not gonna show. That's a building. But yeah, I know what you mean. I can't really see an image right now, but I know exactly what you're talking about. That is a very interesting point. Of course, my main goal here is to match it up with you. You want to feel, when you come into the Moonglow Zoo, you want to instantly get that feeling that you recognize. Oh gosh, I don't know what to do, guys. I only wish we had tall walls that were like this, just plain ones. Yeah, Jibril, I have this I'm unfortunately, like, I'm 49 and I'm going to be 50 in January, and unfortunately I'm cursed with a voice that is very young, and of course it has many good sides to it, but it also, when you're trying to sort of get that sort of respect that an older person would have, for instance, like in your job or something, and you want to sound like you're older and more senior, which you are work-wise, and then you're trying to get your point across, but then you have this voice of a younger woman. Psychologically, even though people know, like, objectively and technically that you're older, the voice makes people react in a way that they kind of not patronize, but let's say maybe you're less convincing due to a young voice. And that's really annoying sometimes, to be honest. Like, I kind of wish that my voice would grow up a little bit more. I would love to have that kind of more, how would you say, what's the word for somebody who's older and not defined, no, what's the word? Oh, I forget the word. Anyhow, I can't decide what to do with these fences, guys. Now, I'm thinking to myself that one option could be, I have just realized what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make this a building, and these are gonna be sandstone walls. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, guys. I'm gonna make this a building. And let's experiment at least and see. And of course we could start off with one area. No, I've decided that's what I'm gonna do. I don't know why I didn't think of that already from the start. Especially since you can put fences inside buildings these days, and yes, that is what we're gonna do. That's the perfect solution. Why now it's like feels self-evident. Although I'm a little bit scared that in a moment I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, but I forgot about this thing or that thing, which will stop me from doing this. Sandstone building, of course. Okay. And it might be that I'm gonna have to make the whole, like, do some proper tiling. It's probably, oh, it is actually letting me build the foundation. That's quite interesting. I thought that it had to be paved, the ground had to be paved for that. Yes. Now the only compromise that's gonna happen is this part here. So I can't make, it's gonna have some kind of opening. It's going to have some kind of opening, unfortunately. But I think the benefit of getting sort of tall sandstone walls is going to be worth the small compromise. Okay, so these tiles I'm going to have to momentarily, I'll just put enchanted grass for now. Outside tall and inside short, that's an idea that could work. Let's first see how it works out with the sandstone walls. Let's see, does this work now? And I do believe it's still one over there. Let's just double check our plan here in Photoshop. Where did my Photoshop go? Over here. So it was 6 and 4. 6 and 4. That is 6 and it's 4. Good. Good. Oh. Well, I have to replace that anyhow. What is that anyhow? Just grass. That could actually be... that might be good as that one other tile. I forget the name now. Okay, let's see now. What is going on? Why can I not expand that? There we go. And actually, just one thing, guys. So Nocturnal, for this Discord channel you're on, if you want to give those guys, like, let me just show you, I'm gonna give a link here. So on this website, you will see, like, you're gonna see screenshots of all the areas I've already done. So there's Britain, the Hedge Maze, Vesper, player housing, and so forth. And you can just give this link to those guys if you like, and they can see then previews of these different areas and like an explanation about what this whole project is about. So Jibril, you're asking, with my free time that I have now, what do I like to do? Sell art, etc. Oh, so like what am I gonna do for work on as a freelancer? Well, I'm a game artist, so I've been working in the game industry for 12 years. The last 6 years has been at Ubisoft, at the studio here in Helsinki. And the problem with Helsinki and Finland in general, as far as game development goes, is that most studios in Finland, they're mobile studios. So you guys all know about Rovio that made Angry Birds. Then there is Supercell that made Clash of Clans, Clash Royale. There's lots of studios here and they're all famous for their mobile games. So the problem here is that, like, I've been making these casual mobile games now for 12 years. But by my heart is, as you can imagine, as a game developer, my dream in my heart is with MMOs, 100%. And unfortunately, no one in Finland makes MMOs. I don't know why that has happened. Like, is it because Finland had Nokia? And then all these sort of mobile, you know, people who were really proficient with creating mobile applications, then it just sort of happened organically and naturally that then we started to make like mobile games here. I don't know if that's the reason. But even I worked at Nokia back in the day, so I think it's maybe a Nokia thing, yeah. And but nobody makes MMOs, and the thing is that I've contributed already 12 years of my life to making mobile games, and now I want to do something different. Now I want to do something, you know, if I can't, I'm stuck in Finland for now, that's for sure. Not because I make my kids anymore, but because of my mom. She's getting very old, so she needs my help. And so there is no way, like when I was younger I always dreamt that someday I'm gonna move to the States and go to work for Blizzard or something like that, but that's just never gonna happen, unfortunately. So I'm stuck in Finland, so I started to just think to myself, like, okay, we need to finalize this. Like, do I want to keep on, oh yeah, I now remember, it's this thing, I have this add-on which lets you make larger. The building is actually there, but there's this little bug with this add-on, so I just have to restart the client. Because I've made a house that is larger than you're normally able to make in Wurm. I believe that's the reason. Let's just start that up again in Steam, and if everything goes well, it should appear when we log back on. So what I'm gonna do now is like a whole bunch of things that I've always wanted to do. I want to brush up my skills with 3D. I want to brush up my skills with concept art. I want to make a children's book. I want to make a comic book. I want to do all kinds of interesting things, and this is now my me time. This is my time to do, and not just be like sort of settling for second best, which has been doing mobile games. I mean, I have nothing against mobile games. I certainly play mobile games myself. I play Clash Royale every day, but it's not my passion as from a game development perspective. And yes, we can see the house frame is here, just like we hoped it would be, so it's just this little bug. And now we will try and see what happens with those those walls. So let's just turn off the GM light. We don't need that one. And get this full screen. Oh, the Division, yeah, that was the massive studio over in Sweden working on the Division. So yeah, Ubisoft has tons and tons of studios all over the world, of course. The Division is made in Sweden, but the studio here in Finland is the Red Link studio, and they make the Trials, like motocross games. I don't know if any of you guys have ever played those, but actually the project I've been working on in Ubisoft for the couple of last years has been South Park Phone Destroyer, which is like the official South Park like mobile game, and that has been very fun to do, of course. So it has not gone to waste. It's been a fun time, but still my passions lie elsewhere. Now, I'm not thinking whatsoever here. I think I need to put let's start off with the entrance. So my assumption is that we will probably have to do the wide arched one for this one. Let's see. And let's go for sandstone. We could try the T one as well, actually. Actually, let's try the T. The T wall. It will look more like an entrance. Sandstone T. Yeah, that looks like an entrance to like an amusement park kind of thing, doesn't it? I mean, the arched one does as well, but that looks even more like that. And is that where the entrance actually is? It is. Okay. And oh, we do have... Okay, that's... No. It needs to go over here. So actually, we need to add on to the building here. Add to building, add to building, add to building. Yeah, that... We're gonna put the arch there, but then the T one here. Okay, good. And then use the T here. And we don't need these middle ones at all. So let's just delete those quickly. And we don't want the T there either. We want the arched one for that spot, actually. Plan wall. Okay, and then this one. Now is the big moment, guys. When we see how it looks to have the sandstone plain wall used as a sort of fence. Because we are not forced, even though we made a building, we do not have to put a rooftop on it at all. So, sandstone wall. And I'm kind of feeling like this is the way to go already now. I feel that way. And that's going to be the arch. Yeah, I think this is going to be the way to go. Let's just do it. And that way, guys, that way. Oh, and I forgot to, we need to scale this so we can see UO at the same time. That way we're going to get the double wall doors as well. So that even sort of helps with the consistency in that regard. So I'm actually, yeah, I think I've decided for sure now that I'm gonna go with these walls, or the building-like solution. So let's see how that actually looks with, we want to get the fences over there. Am I doing this correctly? Not quite. that one we're gonna save for the tall wall, or the fence rather. Sandstone, high iron fence, like so. Fence, sandstone. I should probably make a keybind for that. Now I don't feel very confident about that actually, and this is going actually lower here as well. So we're gonna do the low one instead. Yes, that feels better, much better, because it's like the spot where you're supposed to sort of watch the animals. So that would be sandstone iron fence, like so. Yes, that's much better. Yeah, and let's actually see, we have to put the act on again. Put this thing on again. And then we need to get the keybind for that, because we're going to put those all over the place. It's too much of a bother to keep right-clicking the edge. So fence, sandstone, and it is this one, 842. 842. 842. And it is down here by fences. Here. Sandstone. Okay. This will make things easier. Put that in. Good. And then this should work, which it does. Good. Good. And what was my keybind for a single wall? Plan a single wall? Plan wall. Plan wall, Control Alt A, yes, okay. So let's get that out of the way. Okay. And then this is going to be the sandstone. And we have to remember to leave the thing for the door. Doesn't really matter, we have to choose one of those middle ones. And let's just do that right away so we don't forget it. Sandstone double door. And then sandstone wall. And actually the contrast, I think the contrast of having that the lower fence here, metal fence with the higher walls, is also going to make it look much more like it is in UO. See that? This was definitely the right way to go. I don't know why I didn't think of this from the get-go, to be honest. Yes. And let's just, we could just make that a bit smaller. Yes, this is gonna be just fine. And I can hardly wait until we get the zoo completed and we can put all the critters inside and see if you get a really true, like a true zoo experience. I almost feel like making this as double door as well. It's silly. It would be a bit silly, wouldn't it be? It's a shame we can't get it right in the middle due to the tiling difference. Hello, Griff. Just doing a sneaky peek to see who's up on the stream. How are you doing tonight? There we go. And let's get that. Actually, I'm bothered by the fact that the sun is going from a different... Oh, actually we're on the wrong side. I just want the sun to come from the same direction as we see in UO. We could modify that just a little bit. And get that coming from the more from the front. Not quite that much, that's a little bit. Something like that. Yes, that's perfect. Okay, and for this one we will do the arch. Now the decision is, do we do two arched, single arched ones next to one another, which would be kind of like entrancy to like a amusement park, wouldn't it? To have two. Or do we do one wide one? And let's see how the wide one would look first. Just rotate that one around. It does look a bit weird though, doesn't it? Oh, thank you so much for the cheer, Nocturnal Llama. I appreciate it so much. I'm still new to this streaming stuff, so I'm trying to get my head around like what everything means. I guess Griff and Farron are also in the same situation. You guys are also just trying to figure out all this like Twitch stuff and the differences between these different things that people can do, but I appreciate it very much. Yeah, I don't think this looks very good. I almost feel like putting two single ones next to one another. Let's just see how that would look. Arch, and then arch. Somehow that feels more natural to me, especially if you enter if you're entering the zoo, you could either go this away or you could go that away. I kind of like that more. Yeah. Okay, now thank you so much, Nocturnal. It's just another form of donating to the streamer. Well, I appreciate it very much. Let's see. So for this one, we're gonna have, let's do the fence in the middle first. Now that we have our handy dandy keybind, it's just like instant. And then let's put it here as well. And then do the walls. Hold on, why am I not able to, am I not, oh, hold on, there we go. And then the wall in between. And then this one would be the sandstone, just the plain one. And there's, oh, there is a door actually in between, but that's to the next pen. It's not here at all. So we're still okay. So I have to just remember to do it for the next one. It's a little bit nuts, of course, to try and make everything, but the thing is that we're already compromising so much with the fact that, you know, to get the Ultima style, we're already doing so many compromises due to the fact that we're simply using really like Wurm's own assets here, so which have nothing to do with UO per se. They just happen to be very similar, and they just happen to be a very good match for this project. But maybe for that very reason that we already have to do compromises there, it makes me want to be even more stubborn about, like, in any places that we can get that consistency, to do it. So even if it's the matter of the location of a door, and this one we will make the double door. Sandstone double door. There we go. Sandstone wall. Breaker, you're wondering, oh, Nocturnal, you're saying, thanks for streaming this. It inspires people to do things like this more often. Well, I hope so. I hope it, you know, to be honest, when I first started this project, I really didn't, imagine that this could be of much interest to anyone, so I've been very surprised, actually, by how excited people actually have been about this. And well, you know, I was just doing it for my own, it was just this kind of my own little challenge that, okay, I'm playing Wurm, and you have these tools, and I'm just wondering, could I make it look like UO or not? And then it was just not even going to be anything serious to begin with. I was not even going to tell anyone about it. It was just going to be my own little thing that I'm doing, and then it sort of spiraled into this much bigger project, and I've been working now on it for a couple of years, actually. So it takes some time to do this, for sure. It's especially if you want to get all the little decorations and all the NPCs and everything, you know, as close as you can. So it's definitely not a very light project, but I'm enjoying it so much. It is really fun to do, and it's such a thrill to see an area take shape that you've been always used to seeing in UO. So and then Breakor, you are saying that you wonder if any Wurm player can help you. You have a 3x3 tile of sand. How do I dig it so that I have eternal sand like clay? Well, sand is not eternal per se, so what you're going to have to do, here's what you do. So keep dumping dirt into the middle one, and then, but keep one sand for yourself. And then after you've dumped the dirt, dump one sand on top, and it will convert all of that dirt to sand. Does that make sense? Oh, exactly what Griff is saying as well, yeah. Yep, exactly. So Griff, I loved the last stream you guys had, when you guys went to your old deed, and oh, it was so enjoyable to see you guys reminisce about your old place and seeing the statues and the mines, and how amazing was that all of those things were still there. How is that even possible? Has somebody gone there and been kept on fixing them up, or what is going on? You would have imagined that all that stuff would have decayed from the old deed ages ago. Amazing. I'm pretty sure it must be some fans of your guys who wanted to keep things fixed up for you. That it's it's Wurm history that you guys lived there. I can't really think of any other explanation. And this one is going to be a double door. Now, just to decide, do I put it to this one or this one? Maybe on the side. Double door. Sandstone. Like so. Although visually it would look nicer if it's in this spot, wouldn't it? Okay, I'm gonna do that. So Breaker, at least what I do with the sand thing is I have a bulk storage bin next to my sand pit, and I just keep a whole bunch of dirt there and a little bit of sand. And so you could do that, so you don't have to keep on hauling the dirt over there and stuff. You're gonna have a lot of dirt, as you terraform. You're gonna find that you're gathering more and more dirt. Then again, depending, of course, how you terraform, it could be that you you also use up a lot of dirt as well. I don't know. Now I'm wondering to myself, do I keep these two walls like you see them here? Because this is quite wide. You can barely see inside here, can you? I'm almost tempted to make this a fence. Let's just see how that would look. I think this feels better. Yeah. It's not exactly like in UO, but that does feel better. Feels more logical. And then we can get a little sign. You see, I have this sign here. We can add it onto this wall. Nocturnal, yeah, of course, UO, you know, everyone, like, UO is just always going to have a lot of people who feel passionate about it, right? But I didn't really expect, like, UO players to find this project. Like, I was thinking that, like, it's going to be mainly Wurm Online and Wurm Unlimited players. But somehow, well, I have to admit, I've also, of course, advertised this on Stratix and on Reddit and places like that. So, and you know, even now here with this stream, I've chosen Ultima Online as the game that I'm so-called playing right now. So that does help. But yeah, I don't know, like, because there's also this thing about when we think about the different camps of 3D versus 2D, I definitely belong to the 2D camp myself. And this is just something I'm doing out of curiosity to see how the world would have looked. But I was also a little bit afraid, like, are we going to have a whole bunch of people who have had who have fought the good fight against the 3D client, you know, in the 3D client war? Like, will they be sort of upset that somebody is trying to make a 3D looking version of UO? That has not happened though, thankfully. Not quite sure why, but I guess it was more a case of the 3D isometric view versus the 2D pixel view, and not so much a first person. Well, I don't know, there were people against the first person view as well, for sure. So that's gonna have a little corner right there. Griff, tall fence. Well, you probably weren't here, but when I first started doing the Moonglow Zoo, I was actually starting off with the tall fences, but I was so bothered by the intricate detail of the tops of them, and it didn't look like it was matching here. So the next thing I was trying was the lower fences, the plain ones, right? But then they were way too low, and then it was this eureka moment. I was like, I need to make this a building. A building will be the perfect solution. We can get the tall sandstone walls like you have here, and then have the iron ones to be a little bit lower like here. So yeah, it's better than actually the tall walls. They were way too decorative at the top, and they kind of looked like menacing and looming as well, to be honest. These look much more friendly. Yeah, I need to get more into that archaeology stuff. That was so inspiring to see you guys finding like pieces of the statue, and I have yet to get anything exciting. It's just been a whole bunch of crap for me so far. So seeing you guys get some during that stream of yours made me also feel like, man, I gotta work on my archaeology a bit more. Yes, this was definitely the right choice, doing it as a building. I am so happy with how this is actually turning out. This is like so much more closer to the real thing. I don't know why I didn't think of it earlier. Braegor, you finished terraforming and you didn't know about this would have made it so... Oh, like, oh, you move so much dirt. And the same goes the other way around as well, Breakor. So if you happen to have a huge pile of sand, you can convert that to dirt by just dropping one dirt on top. So it goes vice versa as well. Well, Griff, about the tall fence as well, if you look at this like in UO, right, you don't really need a building whatsoever to build this if you wanted to only use the tall fences. This could be completely made with tall fences only, right? Especially because well, maybe only that is the only part that you couldn't do, that you would have to, oh, and the doors as well. The doors and then the arched one. But it was just the look of the tall fences. So I was just building it only from tall fences when I first started. It just doesn't look nice though. It didn't look like it does here in UO. So this definitely was the better way to go. And we have to actually, that doorway, I forgot to do the doorway, so let's do it, not to the middle one, let's do it to this one. And this gives the added benefit as well of getting these doors as well to get the consistency. And yeah, I don't know about like if just on the subject alone of whether or not you can build tall fences in buildings. I don't know whether you can. I've never actually tried. Let's see, that one there, and then this one goes here. No, that was not the right way to go about things. We need the plain sandstone wall. But now that I have it actually in the memory, let's put it over here. Let's just put that quickly over there. And do we have any other doors that we need to add? I don't think so. No, so it's just going to be plain sandstone walls from now on. Thanks so much for coming and joining us tonight, Nocturnal Llama, and I appreciate so much for, you know, sharing this stuff with the people in your Discord channel, and well, that's how you found this, of course, but sharing the link with those guys, and for your cheer and everything. I hope you have a really good night, and I hope to see you back on the stream sometime. The tall iron fence. Oh, you have to go as well, Griff. Well, in case you're still here, I did try the tall iron fence, but it also looked very unfriendly, and these ones are like lower than the walls, so I'm kind of enjoying their height as well. It looked very kind of the tall one was a bit aggressive looking as well, sort of like it would be a cemetery or something. And they have a lot of detail as well, those tall ones. And they have, yeah, and then when the tall ones were there, this part was just like way too thick somehow, I don't know. I think these work quite well. Okay, let's see. How is this progressing? We need to put some. So the marsh, I'm just thinking if the marsh would be a good one for in here, because that is not the normal. There's the normal grass, and this is kind of this more yellowish marshy grass. So let's see if it will allow me to actually change the tile tip to marsh. Marsh. Yes, it will. Okay. That's interesting. I guess you can't do it in Wurm for real though. This is just because I'm in God mode and probably allowing me only because of that reason alone. And then this one needs the fence. And that needs a fence as well. And then that one looks like it could be maybe a different kind of grass. Maybe we'll put the enchanted grass here. Enchanted grass. And it has some trees, we need to add those as well. Hey there, Brenu Wow. Sorry, Brenu Wow. Maybe I say it, maybe that's the right way to say your name. Welcome to the stream. Nice to have you join us. So I wouldn't say that I'm creating the new Ultima Online. What I'm basically doing, like if I were to summarize in one sentence, is that I play a game called Wurm Unlimited, which is what you see here. And Wurm Unlimited allows you to make your own servers, and you can do whatever you want with your server. And Wurm as a game has very similar types of assets that Ultima Online does. So the thing I decided to do with my server is I wanted to experiment and see, using Wurm's engine, using Wurm's assets, to see how close I could get, how closely I could recreate the Ultima Online map. So if you go to this kind of page, this page here, I'll just link it here. You can see all of the areas I've already built in this. There's, for instance, Trinsic, there's Dagger Isle, there's New Yelm, and the last one I've worked on is the town of Yu. So there you can see all the episodes on YouTube of the progress of this server and how it's been, how closely it's matched so far. Some areas are matched really nicely, like New Yelm looks almost identical to the actual New Yelm, and others are a little bit more challenging to get the same match. I think I'm going to use Marsh for this one. Let's see. So this is not a matter of building UO from scratch, or coding it myself, or making my own 3D assets. I'm using Wurm as a game just to do this. This is just for fun, you know? You will be able to, people will be able to visit this server once I open it up to the public. So you're going to be able to explore and adventure and kill mobs and ride around on horses and sail ships and stuff like that. It's going to be sort of like a UO amusement park in a way, to come and see what the world would have looked like from the eyes of your character, basically. And of course, it doesn't match, you know, UO exactly. I mean, for instance, the sandstone walls, you can see the texture is way different than what you see here. But I'm trying, using the Wurm assets, I'm trying to match it up as closely as I possibly can. This one actually has sand. This is going to be easy to do. Sand, and we probably want to put a few of those tufts of grass. You going to sleep now? Okay. Yeah, I'll wrap up my stream in a few moments. My son is going to sleep, so he won't be able to sleep if I'm chit-chattering here. So let me just finish off what I'll do is I'll finish off all the walls of the zoo, and then I'm going to end the stream for tonight. Thanks for joining us tonight, Breaker. It was lovely to have you over here again. Not sure if you're still around, but have a good night. And that's very late in Australia for sure. Let's see, how does this go? That's all just the walls. one wall there, and then we're gonna do actually the fence should go here, so let's just remove that. And maybe we should do let's do the same thing we did on the other side. Let's make both of these fences actually. Yes, you want to have a better view of, I guess that sandy area would probably have scorpions and stuff. What does this have? Scorpions, mummies, Ophidian warriors, giant serpents. Okay, Ophidian warriors, we do not have Wurm in Wurm, but we do have the other critters for sure. So that is not going to be a problem to populate the zoo. Good. And okay, what do we have here? This is an arched. This is going to be the arched one. So let's do sandstone arched. And do two of them next to each other. And then walls over here. That would be the sandstone wall. And then actually, hold on. Okay, we have a bit of a challenging situation here because we don't have... unless I think what we're going to have to do is make this one a wall and take that one away and make that the fence and just put another fence here because we don't have enough room to make it like it is here. That's what we're going to have to live with, I'm afraid. It's going to have to do. And then this one extends out, so we actually have to add to the building here. Add to building, add to building. And then it actually extends out by another tile. So what is the height of this? Specials, set data. This is surface height 36. So let's just set the height. Set height 36. And then just fix the rest later on. Set height 36. And fix those up like later on to what they're supposed to be. And then this should still extend out. Add to building and add to building. And we can just delete those middle ones again. This is starting to look like the zoo, guys. And just wait until we get all the vegetation, the decorations, the animals in there. It's going to be so cool. And we're going to use the T-walls for those, for the entrance part again. Sandstone T-walls. That's the best we can do, because we cannot get this kind of look here. If we're using a building, it has to be closed off with walls all around. But I think out of all of the compromises, this is the best way to go. Sandstone wall, and almost done with the walls. And the ground type in there is that one again, so maybe, I mean, the dirt we could do, but the dirt looks the most similar to that one, but the problem with Wurm is that if you put dirt, Mother Nature is gonna have like seeds sort of flow into it, and grass will start to grow and trees will start to grow in it, so there's no way to keep it permanent. So I think we're gonna have to go with step for this one. Step. And that way it will stay the way it is. And just to get a little bit of variation into the sandy area here, to give this feeling of like vegetation, maybe we'll just add, because Wurm does not have cactuses, unfortunately. Doesn't have actually any vegetation that would look good in sand. So we sort of have to what's the word when you I can't remember the word now. Okay, good. Now, do we have all the walls set up? I do believe we do. Let's just get that flooring done. So this should be slate bricks. Slate bricks. And here as well. And then, oh, actually the wooden starts already inside. So let's fix that as well. Tarred wooden planks. There we go. I think that's pretty much as close as we're going to get to that entrance. And then we will add little signs here later on. Yeah. And is this entrance looking the way it's supposed to look? Yes, it does. So it extends out flat here and it goes down one. And that's what it does here as well. Okay. Oh, thanks so much for the follow, Jibril. I'm gonna be happy to see you here back again. For sure. Oh, and this has a little hedge maze thing going on. Well, not a hedge maze, but a hedge area. And I think in an inventory we still have those. We still have the sprouts. So let's just actually, and I probably need to make some more sprouts, to be honest. So sprout and maple wood is here, and let's maybe make 50. No, let's just go crazy and go with 100. That's probably gonna be enough. And then okay, I'm gonna have to convert this to grass, I do believe, because otherwise it's not going to let me plant that. And now let's see what happens. Oh no, can I not build hedges inside of a house? Darn. But what I could do though is remove this from the building. Let me see if I can remove this. Remove from building. Oh no, but then we get the wall thing. No, that's not going to work. Add to building and then delete those. It would have to have walls around it. So I have to wonder now, if I would have built that hedged area here first on the map before I would have made this building. No, I would not have been able to do that because it would have not let me build this as part of the building, and I have to have that because otherwise we're going to have a wall around it. So unfortunately I'm not going to be able to put a hedge there because we're inside a building. So the next best thing I can really think of is, first of all, let's at least make it enchanted grass. And now I'm wondering whether or not I can make the little flowered things on the edge here. Let me see. Let's see, flower. What do you need to make that? Let's go with greenish yellow flowers. 100. And what do you need to make that edge? The little flower things, let's see. Buildings. Fences and gates. Here, this is what I'm thinking of. Flower bed, that's the word. And yellow greenish yellow is fine as well. Yes, I already made the flowers. And what do you need to make this thing? Flower, activate tile border, and then you need all of this material. Well, let's see first if I'm even able to actually activate it with the flower at all. We will soon find out before I start making those materials. No. No, it will not let me make that inside the building. Okay. Okay, so we will then just delete those flowers. Actually, we don't need them. And we were just gonna have to put some other fence type here. Now, what fence would work for that though? What fence would work? I'm thinking maybe a curb. Or the low stone wall could be another one to emulate that sort of look of the... Or how about a woven fence actually? That could work pretty well. How would that look? Fence woven. It's more organic. Yeah. I think I will go with the woven fence. It's not like... It's so different, like it's so organic looking that it won't clash style-wise with the sandstone fences. But still, it's like something to sort of compensate for the lack of the hedge. I think that's the best we can really do, actually. But yeah, oh man, that disappoints me because we have the hedge fences over there. Okay, so what else do I want to do before I log off? I think I'm pretty much done for today, and my son needs to get to sleep. Maybe just quickly see what a snow tile could look like here. Snow. And we want to make it look organic and sort of like, yeah, something like that. We're restricted to these tiles, I'm afraid, but that's better than nothing. Yeah, I think I better stop now and let my son get to sleep. So thank you guys so much for keeping me company on the stream tonight. I hope you found this entertaining, and I hope to see you guys back the next time that I stream. I will probably be continuing the zoo, and then I will add the trees, the animals, all the little decorations, and then of course continue work on the island of Moonglow. There's lots to do. So thanks again everyone, and I hope you all have a very good night. Oh, thanks so much, Lance, and nice to see you here on the stream as well. Good night everyone.